We're live early because I'm just setting up for the live show tonight. So we'll start in about 10 minutes, actually about 9. Just hanging out since Scott's not here. Live. Oops. What did I just do? Why's my pencil not working? Hey, Alfred. Today's date, the 23rd. 23, 22. So this will be BOGP 21. What number will this be? 21. Hey, Margie. Hey, Lisa. Roll Tide. 21. 74. 75. 76. How do you think? 77. 70. 79. All right. Now I gotta hook up the laptop. I'll take that upstairs. Hey, what's up, Scott? Hope you're having fun up in New York. It looked like you had fun in Central Park today, and that hot dog looks super good. I will say all those tall buildings were kind of freaking me out, though. I kind of have a phobia about tall buildings lately. Do 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 do. Hooking up the laptop for the calls. Let's do this, and this. Have a good one, Scott. You guys are killing it. Can't wait to hear about it when you get back. I didn't want to bug you this weekend because I know you guys were going here, there, and everywhere. But if you're with Marlessa, tell her I said hello. And happy birthday to Emily. That's what I was going to do on the show here tonight. That's where, see, we're alike. We're brothers, except for that. I'm not a big city guy. Give me where I live any day. Midwest, no buildings, trees, football, Friday nights. Perfect. See you, Scott. Have a good one. Talk to you soon. Keep posting the pictures, though. All right. Let's see if we got sound. Check, check, check. Let's see. Let's get the levels. This computer's so slow tonight. Let's do this. I saw that, Alan. I saw you guys have. It looks like the weather we had in July when we were out there. We're so lucky. I saw like high 76. Perfect. Test this. Check 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2. Good there. This is all the stuff I usually do before I go live. It's when Scott's hanging out. Hey, Wade, congratulations on another good 13 miler today, or 13.1 today or yesterday. I saw you ran another half up in Lincoln. Yes, we have sound. We need sound. Without sound, it would be a terrible podcast. We have sound. Oh, I need to hang on, pull the backdrop, because now you can see that I'm getting ready to watch Sunday Night Football. Ugh. Hello, Katie. Yeah, so I'm kind of jealous because Mallory's on fall break this week. So she doesn't have school. And she's had 3 friends come over and they just went to El Azteca for dinner, which is my Mexican restaurant. So a little fired up that I didn't get to go there. Of course, I'd already had Taco Bell. So I've already had my dinner. All right, we got the laptop going. We got the big computer going. We got the backdrop. We got the lights on. Got to get the Coke Zero going. Yes, Marlessa gets the Podcaster of the Week award for taking the Gardeners all around New York City. Scott just was in here 2 seconds ago, so he is still alive. He survived at least 72 hours in New York City or so. So pretty crazy. I'm telling you what, I am not getting on a New York City subway. I don't think so. 1, on Blue Bloods, that's where all the crime happens. 2, there's too many different places it would go. I wouldn't know where I was going. Hey, I'm getting ready. At least I might be getting rid of it here shortly because I'm getting a new office, hopefully for my birthday next month. Because Paige finally took her stuff up to Chicago. There's a Magic Kingdom under here too. Oh, look, we're at the Magic Kingdom. I just like Epcot. I like Spaceship Earth better. I like the. Yes, Kevin, the whiteout was awesome. And I don't know if you're following, Kevin, but there's a guy named Ben Chase who's attempting to go to 80 college football games this season. He's going drive. I mean, he drives West Coast to East Coast in a van that he calls Betty White. And he was at the Penn State game Saturday night. So look him up. He's from the University of Florida. He's a Florida alum. He's a Gator, but he's trying to set a record. So he's got a crazy story. But yeah, he was at the whiteout. But he's a good follow on Twitter. So he's at a wedding today in Washington, D.C. His next game is in Washington State. So he's got to drive all the way to the Pacific Northwest from D.C. It's craziness. Hey, Kristen. Dun, dun, dun. I'm just not a big city person. Like, I'll go up and see Paige in Chicago because she's coaching up there, but that's about as much as I want to do. And I'm not getting on the L. I'm just going to walk around. Go Beavs. Hey, my Mizzou Tigers actually got an SEC win. Barely. Oh my God. Yesterday. We almost gave that thing away at the end. It's going good, Chris. How about you? Yeah, tell me about it. Well, I'm 48 years old and I'm finally going to get an office because my daughter moved out. We'll see. Because it's going to be painted Mizzou Old Gold because we have 2 golds. I don't think I have anything here that is old gold. We have this really pretty old gold that our uniforms were like in the 70s, which is we're going to have 3 walls that are old gold. Then the wall behind me will be 30% gray so that I can light it. So that I'll have different colored lights in the back. But yeah, that's the plan. Hello, Brooke. Hope you're doing well. Love that picture from California Adventure. Man, I miss that place. Kevin was at the whiteout. Yes, and the Phillies are going to the World Series. I did see something about that on Twitter. Remember, my dad used to be a off-season catcher for a former Philly pitcher who won the Cy Young Award in 1983. John Denny. They went to church together. They were in the same Sunday school class. This is how old I am. So during the strike of 81, when the players went on strike, my dad, who was a construction worker, caught John during the strike so that he could keep pitching. My dad didn't play baseball past Little League, yet he caught a guy who won the Cy Young less than 2 years later. He had a wicked curve. I mean, a wicked curve. What's up, Jessica? It's pretty here. It's probably looking a little like New Hampshire because we got the pretty leaves right now, but it's super windy, so the leaves are probably going to go away. Yes, the LSU Tigers are now ranked. They got a $250,000 fine from the SEC for storming the field. But yeah, and I've probably said this a million times, but one of my former students, one of my wife's former students, is the cornerbacks coach on the defensive side of the ball for the LSU Tigers. Robert Steeples, former St. Louis Ram, former Mizzou Tiger, former Memphis Tiger, and just an awesome student, even when he was in fifth and sixth grade. You know you're old though when your former like fifth and sixth graders are like in positions like working for Brian Kelly at LSU on the defensive side of the ball. Like, oh man, yay! Peg's here. She's here for live action. I better find something to talk about. Let me find some news here. See if Ricky wrote some news. The mouse. See if Ricky did her job. And she's pregnant, so we're cutting her some slack. We have news. Yeah, we have news. Oh, we have lots of news. Good. Is there like a more button or how's this work? Let's hit news. Let's hit Walt Disney World news and see what that does. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're getting there, man. It's crazy. All of us, 20 somethings are turning 50 all of a sudden. How'd that happen? I have no clue. All right. So remember, Scott is not here. So if we don't have calls, this is going to be a terrible, terrible show. And it's going to be a short show because I'm not going to talk to myself for an hour. So give me a call once I open up I'll do a little news at the top and then I'll open up the phone lines. So we talk about whatever you like. Hello from Nashville, Jennifer. I got to get Mallory really wants to go to Nashville for like a weekend, and I got to get down. I've only driven through a million times going to Disney, but I've never stopped. I always just say, "Hey, look, there's the Batman building." When we go through on 65, and I used to drive to Huntsville, and I had to go. That's where I'd switch from 24 to 65 South. Dun, 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 dun. Man, you guys are killing it. I need to do a cruise. As far as I know, when I turn 50, I'll probably just be sitting here doing a podcast. My wife turns 50 in March. Now, see, that's a good dad. Waking you up to see Hank Aaron break the record. That's awesome. Yeah, I was sweating it for my Clemson. I have a lot of Clemson friends. And boy, I thought you guys were getting yours yesterday. I thought the 2016 streak was ended, but I'm glad you pulled it out. Like, we're all so young, actually. I'm in the right demographic here. That's good, John. You're killing it. Happy 60. It's the day before a marathon. Not a salad. Go to Mama Melrose. That's where Scott and I always go for the day before the marathon. We always go to Mama Melrose at the studios. Martin's Barbecue in Nashville. Sounds good. We had a really good place one time passing through Memphis. That was super good too. Yeah, Lisa's doing it too. Oh, yeah. And Mallory just mentioned, she goes, "What about Pigeon Forge?" I said, yes, because I fell in love with Silver Dollar City last year. And so I do want to do Dollywood. Yes, 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 yes. The food at Silver Dollar City was unreal, like the cinnamon bread and stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are killing me. Okay, we gotta do a show here though, so let's do this. But let me do the news and then give me a call. We can talk about whatever you want. That's a good question though about the where to eat solo stuff like that. All right, so hang with me because I need people to hang. You can just hang. Let's make sure the sound's right. It is good. All right, here we go. Let's see. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, October 23rd, 2022. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com, and you can check me out on the social media over at Twitter and Instagram at BeOurGuestMike. I would love for you to give me a follow over there so we can talk this week and in the future. We could talk about sports. We could talk about Disney. We could talk about where you're from. We could talk about where I'm from. I love interacting with the listeners of our show because it's so cool to get your perspective on maybe your favorite college football team, your favorite attraction at Epcot, why you love Harmonious, why you hate Enchantment, whatever it is. It's great to be able to interact with our listeners. Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Sunday night. It is the BOGP Open Line, where we open up the phones at 407 413 9395, 407 413 9395, and take your calls for the next hour. And this show really needs to be driven by our listeners today, because my co-host Scotty G, the big hashtag, is hanging out in New York City right now. He's having a big weekend there. Got to send a big happy birthday to his daughter Emily, who this is her celebration. This was the brainchild. She wanted to go to New York City. So Scott's a great dad, so he made it happen. And I got to also send a huge shout out to listener Marlessa, because from what I'm seeing in the pictures that Scott is posting on Instagram. So if you're not following him, check out his adventures at Epscott, EPSCOT. Marlessa is showing them all around the big city. And I believe, I'm almost positive, this is Scott's first time in New York City and his family. And they look like old pros. They've been on a subway. They've been eating, what do they call them in New York City? Slices, pieces of pizza. They've been to a couple, at least, of Broadway shows. I've seen them all dressed up going. I think they saw The Lion King. They've been to Central Park, and I saw in Central Park, Scott was having a hot dog, a Nathan's hot dog, I believe it was, because he was by some kind of a cart. I mean, it looks to me like lots of pictures from big, tall buildings. I mean, from a guy from Missouri, it looks like he is doing it exactly right. So we'll have Scott back here next Sunday night. Maybe he can give us a 5 to 10 minute recap of what a Michigan guy thinks of New York City, because I think that'd be kind of interesting. But for tonight, we're talking Disney. So I'm going to take your calls here in just 1 second. Let me hit the news, so we have something to talk about here shortly. Ricky provides the news over at themouseforless.com. So if you're ever looking for news on Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, that is the place to go, themouseforless.com. Well, you may or may not have heard there is a little nighttime spectacular over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, we talk about this show every once in a while on our podcast, and you have heard the intro music to this show many, many times. If you've listened to our show, I can tell you personally, I've heard the music to this show over 2,100 times, because we kind of borrow it for our intro. It's Fantasmic. So Fantasmic is that wonderful nighttime spectacular that takes place in the big theater there, kind of over by Tower of Terror at the end of Sunset Boulevard. And it's been missing since the pandemic started. And we've always been wondering, is it coming back? Is it not coming back? Is it going to have changes? Yes, now we do know it is coming back. It's going to come back with some changes, and we know a date. The date to know, and it is soon, people. November 3rd, the first performance for the general public of Fantasmic is happening. November 3rd. So we only got a couple of weeks. Now, why is that exciting? For those of you that are headed down to Wine and Dine Race Weekend, you are going to have the opportunity to not only run 5K, 10K, or 13.1 miles, but you might get into Mickey's Imagination over and see Fantasmic over that weekend starting on November 3rd. So that's going to be exciting. Glad to have Fantasmic back, because just personal connection there. That is my wife's favorite nighttime show. She always, like, even back when we had Wishes, we had Happily Ever After, we had Illuminations. My wife always liked Fantasmic the best. So we always made an effort to see that at least once or twice in a week-long trip. We did kind of talk about this on one of the podcasts a couple of weeks ago. Like, one of the things to remember about Fantasmic, though, is it is a time sucker. Like, I always, always think like you can just walk right up to Fantasmic and you're in the theater in 5 minutes. That's not the case. You got to really kind of plan for. It's at least a 10-minute walk from Sunset Boulevard to get back to the theater with no stoppages. And then you got to get your seat. And then when you get out, it takes a little bit of time to get out of the park. It does take time, but I think the show is worth it. But it is a little bit of work and a little bit of hassle, but it's a great show. So, and Adam in our live chat says, he's going to be there on November 4th. So it's coincidence they brought back Fantasmic just so that his family could go see Mickey's Imagination. So congratulations, Adam. We all thank you so much for letting us see Phantasmic as well. So I'm curious, what is your favorite nighttime spectacular now with the three going on? So now we'll have Phantasmic, which, hey, I'm putting that in the classic category. We got the classic Phantasmic, and then we got the two new guys on the block, at least for right now, Enchantment, Harmonious. How would you rank those three? So we'll talk about that here in just a minute at 407-413-9395. All right, how about another reopening? Because we're still missing a few things that are not open from COVID, and this is a huge one. This one I like because a lot of people cannot pronounce this. Restaurant Eckershoes. And that's how you say it. It's so funny because I've heard this pronounced 1,000 different ways. And I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly myself, but this is how I've heard most people say it. Restaurant Eckershoes. I think that's right, but I could totally be wrong because I'm about as far from Norway as you can get. So if I'm wrong, you can correct me. You won't hurt my feelings. But it says Restaurant Eckershoes, the Royal Banquet Hall, is going to reopen its doors once again on November 4th. Maybe this is also for Adam's family because Adam's family. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. I didn't realize that, but it's coming back and it's going to be there in World Showcase at Epcot over in the Norway Pavilion. So you can get your Norwegian cuisine on. And of course, this is going to be your place to meet the princesses. ADRs are now open. So if you wanted to get over there, you can do that. So let's see if Ricky has who the princesses are. It doesn't say. I think there used to be 5 because we used to go to this one quite often. I always preferred to go to this place rather than Cinderella's Royal Table. When Mallory was younger, I don't know, it was a little bit cheaper. It was a lot easier to get in, and I kind of like the food. I don't know if Mallory liked the food, but I did. But it looks like it's only going to have dinner to start. No word on breakfast or lunch. So only dinner to start, Ricky says. But November 4th, get your ADRs now for Restaurant Eckershoes and get that going. 2 other reopenings. We have Tusker House and Kona Cafe. It says, so let's start with Kona Cafe. Kona, as you know, has been down for refurbishment over at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. It is going to open on November 1st. Our runners for Wine and Dine are going to have lots of new experiences, actually not new, reopened experiences to enjoy. So enjoy that. It says this restaurant's going to feature a refreshed experience. The look, feel, and even some flavors will be different yet familiar. Coda Cafe will still feature American cuisine with an Asian flair. Plus, guests can still watch the chefs at work in the on-stage kitchen. Tonga toast is going to be back, though. They did say they are going to have Tonga toast because that's kind of their signature thing for breakfast. I can't have Tonga toast because I'm allergic to bananas. I know everybody talks about Tonga toast, but it would make me totally have a reaction. I'd end up in the hospital, but that's okay because I used to always get the big kahuna. So I hope they have that. Let's see here. So if you want to know what a Tonga toast is, banana stuffed French bread rolled in cinnamon sugar and served with a strawberry compote, I guess that is. And so they're gonna have the big kahuna burger at lunch, seafood poo-poo platter. I don't know what that is. But so there's your Coda Cafe, November 1st. Tusker House at Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. This again, hidden gem. When you're looking for an ADR, can't find anything, Tusker House usually has an ADR available most times because people don't think about Animal Kingdom and dining and sit-down dining. Tusker House has good food, but it's also going to be transitioning from family styles back to a buffet starting on when? November 1st. So you get your buffet back on. Let's see here. It's got the normal staples for breakfast, Mickey waffles, breakfast meats, stuff like that. Lunch and dinner, breads, dips, tandoori chicken, curry shrimp, cauliflower bunny chow. That doesn't sound very good. So yeah, there you go. So just when you get, it is good though. It's a good place to eat. So November 1st, Tusker House, back to a buffet, baby. So there you go. That's our news section for today. Lots of food there. You got Eckershoes, you got Kona, you have Tusker House. Good options to eat there. 2 in Epcot. No, 1 in Epcot, 1 in Animal Kingdom, 1 at the Polynesian, and then Fantastic. Coming back at you, baby. So we have that coming up soon. Also on Friday's show, we have two things I want to talk to you about, and then we'll open up the phone lines. One, Friday's podcast was about unexpected frights around Walt Disney World. So things where you might get kind of scared, but you might not think about it. So you might go over to Tom Sawyer Island, just chill out, but your kids might actually freak out, or the adults might freak out when they go through the tunnels on Tom Sawyer Island, just because maybe they're a little claustrophobic, or maybe they don't like the dark, and you were not expecting that. So that's one of those places. The Swiss Family Treehouse, just because somebody that's scared of heights, it doesn't look like you're going to go up that high, but you actually do get up pretty high by the time you complete all the stairs and see all the little rooms in the treehouse. So, what would you add to that list that we left off? And one more time, we are going to talk about underappreciated Walt Disney World characters. And I'm talking minor characters. I'm talking like the cliff divers in El Rio del Tiempo, the Grand Fiesta Tour. I'm old, so I call it El Rio del Tiempo. We talked about the Oriental gentleman and his, I guess, grandson, and at the end of Living with the Land. What are they up to? Scott and I always talk about that. The old couple in Impressions de France at the end there. So lots to talk about tonight. Talk about whatever you want. Bring it up. We could talk about variable pricing for Genie Plus. We could talk about anything that's going on at the parks. So let's open up the phone lines. I can't talk for an hour. I need to talk to you. So 407 413 9395. 407 413 9395. Give me a call and we'll get going here. Lisa does have a question here. So let me get this real quick. She says, I have a question. You have us booked for New Year's Eve weekend. If we are unable to get on Guardians the first day, can we go to guest relations and add a park hopper, even though we have a travel agent? Yes. So you can manipulate your tickets once you're there. That's totally fine. All right. We have 3 calls coming at the same time. Let me get the first one. The first one that came in right here. Hey, who's joining us?
Hey, this is Katie from Maryland.
Hey, Katie. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's actually my first time ever calling in.
Hey, let me give you a bell here because that's awesome. I appreciate you calling.
Of course, figured I would help you out tonight.
Yes, because I need it. Scott just up and left me for New York City. I mean, what are you going to do?
Up there. It's only a few hours away from me.
Yeah, I mean, how do I compete with that, right? The dude's he's eating it up, man, going to shows, and he's dressed up like he's going to a wedding every 30 minutes. It's crazy. It's I don't know if I can handle New York City. It looks like it's too busy for me. He's been going nonstop for 72 hours.
I mean, that is the New York City lifestyle.
I guess. Yeah. City that, the only thing I know about New York City is I watch Blue Bloods every day as I work. And so, like, it makes me a little nervous. Like, unless I see Commissioner Reagan somewhere, like, protecting me, I don't know what I would do. So, anyway, what's on your mind?
I wanted to call about another obscure character that has not been mentioned at all the last several episodes.
Love it. Go for it.
So hopefully I'm understanding the assignment because this might be a little too obscure. But the mascot at Wilderness Lodge, Humphrey the Bear, do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely no. And a lot of people love that guy because I am a Wilderness Lodge fan. I think it's just an amazing place to stay. Now, is he not on like a totem pole or something? Is kind of a collectible or some kind of a souvenir in the shop somewhere?
He definitely is. I feel like the part that I'm referring to is how Wilderness Lodge, when you have the sun reflecting on it and just the right angle, so it's the right time of day, the reflection definitely has the bear shape to it. So backstory, January 2021, so height of COVID, went down to Disney with my mom. We took the boat to the Wilderness Lodge, for Guide Your Point, because we love that. We were the only ones on the boat. And so, because it also was January 2021, very few people were around. The boat captain was like, you want to take a scenic route? And so we're like, sure. And so he took us all the way far out, as far out in the lake you could possibly go with the Wilderness Lodge, pretty far out in the distance. So nowhere where you would normally go on the boat. And you could see the reflection of Humphrey, or, the bear shape in general, on the lake. And it was just that right time of day. And then he told us the whole story of it. So yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. So to add to that, so And that's why I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of those things. We should do a show about this, but I think it'd be challenging to come up with enough to talk for like 40 minutes. But
Right.
this is one of those things that's kind of there in plain sight. It's like it's hidden
Mhm.
in plain sight, right? Like everybody that stayed at the lodge has looked up at the building, but unless like to see it, you never will. But
Right.
once,
Exactly.
once somebody tells you, look, there's the eyes, there's this,
Mhm.
this is the bear. And I didn't know either, but one time we were getting together with a good friend of the show, Mark, who lives up in Chicago. He's an avid fisherman. And whenever he goes to Walt Disney World, he always rents those pontoon boats. And I guess you get like 8 people for the same, it costs the same whether one guy goes out or 8. So we always ask like
Mhm.
Scott and me and a couple of other buddies from the show. So we always go out fishing with him, even though I'm a terrible fisher. I don't know how to fish, but I mean I like riding on the boat and like they
I
do
mean,
every.
me neither.
Well, the thing is, like Disney does everything for you. Like they'll bait your hook. Like I mean, I just got throw it out there, and if I catch something, they take it off the hook. It's great. Anyway, I joke. I'm like, there's probably a guy in a scuba gear like under this boat, like putting the fish on your hook so you feel good. I don't think that's the case, but what happened was we had that boat and we were out in Bay Lake, and he did the same thing. The boat guy was like, "Hey, check this out." So because we ended up fishing kind of behind the Contemporary, back where they service the big ferry boat. Actually, there's a
Mhm.
kind of a little inlet. And he's like, "Yeah, check it out." And he told us all the same things. And also that shoe tree thing. You know about that? Where the captains throw their shoes?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a weird thing. I don't know why another thing, just kind of on the tangent there. Our high
Mhm.
school band, like on their senior night, because we had senior night at our high school Friday. So we honor the cheerleaders and the football team. Well, the senior band, did their big number. But our band members leave their shoes on the field after the performance, and their parents have to go out and pick up their shoes. I think that's the weirdest thing ever. I don't know why. I don't know what like. Somebody's got to tell me the backstory there. Maybe we have some band people that would let me know. Unless you're, I don't know if you know.
Yeah. I can't help you on that
Okay,
one.
good, because I don't know either. I need somebody to bail me out on that one. Because I'm like, why is everybody leaving their shoes on the field? We got to play the second half of this football game here. That's the weirdest thing. But no, Humphrey, we're going to add that. That is a great call. Let me ask you this. What's your favorite hotel to stay at Walt Disney World when you go down?
My favorite, I usually would say Pop Century or Caribbean Beach. Don't know that I could choose just one.
You're a Skyliner fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But even before the Skyliner, I usually would always stay at either Pop Century or Art of Animation. Usually it's alternating between the two. I think you've talked about before about loving both, particularly Pop Century and just the theming of it.
Well.
And it's always been, convenient, affordable, and then adds a Skyliner to it. So really can't go wrong.
Yeah, Pop's got everything I need. It's got really nice rooms, got good food court, it's got the Skyliner, it's got a good place to run. And I can hop over to now with the Skyliner, I can take advantage of anything at Caribbean Beach for dining. I can go to the Riviera and go to Primo Piatto if I want to eat, and then boom, Studios Epcot, I'm connected. So yeah, that's always where I land, especially for race weekends when I'm not with with my family. Because if I want anything if I want anything other than or value, I'd be in big trouble. So yeah, that's my safe place.
Yeah, my mom and I are my mom and I are doing the wine and dine weekend next weekend, but we're staying at Caribbean Beach largely because that was her choice.
Hey, good call. I think I'm backing out of wine and dine because of the knee, so not gonna make it.
Oh, fair, yeah.
Plus, our high school football team has a big football game that Friday night, and we have Mizzou tickets on Saturday. So it's kind of a combination of a bunch of things coming together. So gonna get down for a marathon. So yeah, so we'll have a good run and enjoy the weekend.
Definitely. Thank you. I hope your knee continues to recover.
It's getting there. It's a mess. I had to get a new brace today, but we'll get there slowly but surely.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great evening.
All righty. All right, so it's 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Peggy, just give us a call. Just on the phone at 407-413-9395. And when I'm speaking with somebody, I can see the calls coming in, but I can't take the next call because we can only take one at a time. All right, we got 3 coming in at the same time here. So let's see what we got. And all right, we have our next caller. Hey, who's joining us?
This is Doug from Michigan. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Doug. See, hey, okay, we met our Michigan quota tonight because Scott bailed. So we had to have Michigan represented. So, Doug, you saved the show.
I'm glad to hear that.
Appreciate you. What's going on?
I actually had a wine and dine question. I'm sorry that you're not going to be there, but
It's killing me.
it is. Yeah. Well, I hope your knee feels better.
Yeah, well, we'll
It's
get there.
actually going to be my first Run Disney race and my first half marathon, so I am super excited.
So wait, so you've never run a regular, like a half marathon back in your town or anything like that?
No, not an official one.
Oh, you're gonna have so much fun, man. You're gonna be going down that chute. I'm so jealous. Because when you hit the last point one, it's such an amazing feeling. Run Disney does it better than anybody. You are gonna have such a good time. Now you're making me feel bad because I don't think I'm going, but I still haven't canceled my reservation. I'm signed up for the challenge, but we have a perfect football season going this year, and my knees really doesn't need it. But I don't think I'm gonna make it. But yeah, you're gonna have a good time. So what's your question though? How can I help you?
So the course map came out, and uh, it looks like this year we're running through Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land, which I guess is different from Wine and Dine in past years. And there were people saying, "Oh no, we have the long walk to the beginning at Epcot because the race starts and ends in Epcot this year." So what are they talking about?
So I looked at the course map and I thought it was the same course as last year. And now one of the races last year, and I can't remember which one. I think it was Spring Surprise. We did run through Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story. But just
Yeah, it looks like this year it's basically the same as Springtime Surprise, just with some extra kind of loops to make it 13.1.
right. Because I glanced at it. Because the Wine and Dine course isn't my favorite because there's a lot of road, especially in the 10K too. Which is, I mean, that's actually a good course for like somebody that's trying to get a decent time because the roads are flat and you can really get moving on those roads. I mean, they're good for that. But I'm all about running. I'm not fast and I'm old. So like I want to see stuff. Like I want to be in the theme parks as much as I can. But yeah, we did run through Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story, but it wasn't a lot. Like we didn't go past because I kept telling myself, oh, I want to stop and get my picture in front of the Millennium Falcon. We didn't go that deep into Galaxy's Edge. We never made it to the Millennium Falcon. Like we just barely went in and went out. So we did that, but yeah. So as I recall, let me I'll pull the course map. Well, I can't pull it right now, but I did see it, and I believe it does start out on the that I forget what it's called, like the backstage road, for Wine and Dine at Epcot, and then you just kind of go down. Yeah. So you're gonna get time in the studios. It's not gonna be a ton of time, but you're gonna get time in the studios. But you're really the most fun part of that course is Epcot. You're gonna enjoy Are you just doing the half marathon?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and the thing is, even out on the roads, you're gonna have entertainment out there too. You're gonna have marching bands and all kinds of stuff, and DJs from Disney and all kind of characters. Like people like the Tumble Monkeys will be out there, stilt walkers from Disney, all kinds of entertainment. So, the time will pass, but I would have like headphones or something to entertain you for the little sections in between. But you're gonna have a blast. There's nothing like your first Run Disney race and that feeling going down the chute. And there's going to be a ton of lizards there look for the lizards before you go over to the corrals and just have an amazing race. And let me know what you think when you get back.
For sure. It was interesting when I decided to run. I was really running just so I could do like the Castaway Key 5K. That's why I started getting into running. And then I was like, well, maybe a Run Disney race would be fun. And we were on a walk one night and we were trying to figure out like, well, marathon is like a little tough, but I know there's one in November that we could probably make work. And then we checked to see when the sign up was, and it was literally the next day.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah. So then I was able to get in, and then we've been planning, and I've been training ever since. So very excited, just for the expo and for pretty much the whole thing. So I'm going to be on that first bus at 2:30 in the morning.
Best advice. Yeah. I've done a bunch of these. I've probably done 50 or more of these, races over the years. And I kind of tend to play a little more loose with the buses because I've done it so many times. But that's good advice. Be on one of the first buses. That way you're not freaking out at how long, because those bus lines get super long to get over there, and that's the first thing that freaks me out. What hotel are you staying at for the weekend?
We're doing Holly on Thursday and Friday night, and then we're switching to Art of Animation for Saturday and Sunday.
That'll work fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. And it'll be great. So, do you have anything? I know this is, I'm kind of superstitious this way, but anything like lined up for celebratory Sunday? Or wait, yeah, no, Monday.
Oh no, Monday we just fly back. But we'll go to the after party
Yeah,
on Sunday and have a good time there.
that's what you do. Well, hey, good luck and don't go too fast. Even if you're fast, enjoy it. It's going to be, and take a million pictures. Also, one tip, get Memory Maker if you don't have it, because you're going to get amazing shots out there. You get at least 30 or 40. This is the time to have it, especially for your first race.
Yeah, we got the 1 day for
Yeah,
that day.
totally.
So,
You're going to want it because they're going to give you some good shots,
yeah.
and you're going to want to share those because, it's awesome. And think about, here's the last little piece of advice that I wish somebody would have told me like before 20 races. Like, think about what you want to look like when you cross the finish line for your finish line photo. Because like I always think about it, but it's like 10 feet after I cross the finish line and it's too late. And there's like robo cameras way up high above that are taking pictures of you. So there will be photographers right there at the finish line taking shots from ground level, but there's also cameras above, like robotic cameras taking pictures too. So get into your pose maybe about 20 yards before the finish line and just kind of hold it as you cross the line if you want a really good picture. Not that I'm trying. Scott and I have done this enough times. We're getting ready to pose. So I'm just saying, get some good shots.
That's great advice. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good run and let us know how it goes. I hope you have a wonderful time.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good
Appreciate
luck.
all you
Take
do.
care. I appreciate you. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. 407-413-9395. How about that? Makes me so happy. A first time half marathoner at Walt Disney World at the Wine and Dine Half Marathon. That makes me extremely happy because when you get the opportunity to do these races, it's such a blessing to get out there and be around so many Disney fans and get all this entertainment. And you get a medal at the end, which is a souvenir that you earned. You couldn't buy, you had to earn it. It has a story behind it because you'll talk about, oh, it was hot, or oh, it was cold, or oh, I had a cramp at mile 7. Everything's got a story. So I love this. So, Doug up in Michigan, have a great run and give us a call here in a couple of weeks and we will talk about your experience. Okay, 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Any other characters that you want to talk about that are unsung, minor teeny weeny characters around the Walt Disney World property? What do you want to talk about? I like Humphrey. I'm trying to think about other resorts that have something maybe like Humphrey. I'm trying to think. What would be another resort that might have its own character? As I think about it, back in the day, this was, a while back, the Grand Floridian had the greeter. Uh, no, well, so the beach club had Art the greeter for years and years. He was kind of legendary because he was in those Travel Channel specials. Oh my gosh, Marty just has one. Push the trash can. Yes, and I have a lot of here's the funny thing about Push though. I have a lot of pictures from with Push from back in the day, but when you get home and people look at those pictures, it truly does look like you're just getting your picture taken with a trash can because in a still shot, you can't really tell that Push the trash can is interactive. You need video for that. So that's what like TikTok and Reels is made for. But unfortunately, Push predated TikTok in Reels. There was also, oh man, I'm trying to think kind of the next generation Push in Tomorrowland was this robot. Now, this was because I remember Mallory and Emily, who are now 14 and 15, they met this guy. He rolled around Tomorrowland. So I want to say in the pictures, they're probably both this is probably about 6 or 7 years ago. This robot would roll around Tomorrowland and talk to the guests. he was obviously kind of built on a Segway platform because he rolled around. He didn't have legs, but he had wheels. But I mean, it was, I don't know exactly like if there was a person inside this robot, if it was totally robotic and it was somebody like watching from a distance that was interacting with you. But there was this robot that would roll around. He has a name. I just can't think of it. But yeah, that was one of the cool characters, and he was there for a while, and he was back actually not too long ago for a couple of days. I saw it on social media. People were getting their pictures with him again, and I haven't heard from him since. But there was this cool robot that would go around Tomorrowland and just interact with the guests. He would talk. I mean, he would, call you by name. He would answer questions. It was kind of like push the trash can. You could interact like on a personal level. So that was kind of fun. So, okay, I need phone calls 407 413 9395. 407 413 9395. Kathy says, is Uncle Orville considered obscure? Okay, well, two audiences, right? For the general public, Uncle Orville is absolutely obscure. Nobody knows, unless you're one of us, who Uncle Orville is. However, for us, Uncle Orville's not obscure. We all know who he is, right? No privacy at all around this place. We're headed to Connecticut with Eric. Eric, how's it going tonight?
It's going good. Oh, I think everybody who's a Disney fan knows Uncle Orville, but I think people who aren't Disney fans aren't looking for him because he just has that one line. You can pass him over quick, but we know the history. We know it's Mel Blanc. It's like the only one that uses the original uncleaned up audio and stuff like that. So Uncle Orville isn't obscure to Disney fans. But to non-Disney fans, they have no idea who we're talking about.
Right. That's what I think. Would it ruin Uncle Orville, though, if all of a sudden he popped out and we saw what he looked like? I think he's one of those characters
Absolutely.
that we cannot know. We can never see him because that would ruin the mythos of Uncle Orville.
He's Wilson on Home Improvement.
That's
or
a good comparison.
Norm
Yes.
White from Cheers.
Yeah, there you go.
He's Disney's version of that.
Yeah, it should have been a podcaster that just did this for the last since 2008. Just like, this is all you saw of me, like kind of thing. Like Marshmallow or whatever that guy is. Something about, I don't know. So what's on your mind, Eric? Hey, it's good. I hope the school year's going well. It's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been able to call in. Well, I have I don't know if they're obscure characters, but they're the two characters that I love the most from one of the shows. And it's the two guys in the Great Depression scene of American Adventure. They're just sitting in a gas shack,
right,
listening to the radio. And I don't know why, but I always feel like happy when it comes out. It seems like just this like perfect piece of Americana to fit the show.
Are you talking about
Whereas
the scene where they say,
is,
like, we're sitting outside the gas station where they say, like, lend me a dime and I'll give you back 2 nickels like where they're selling the apple or something like that? Yeah.
And the guy has the banjo.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It totally rises up. It's like so much of the show is, famous people. You see the suffragettes and you see the Native American. I can't remember who it was. But here, in this one scene, it just happens to be, two guys from regular American life. The two brothers scene is the more famous one of that. But this is the only other scene that makes me really feel like I'm just watching a slice of American life from the time.
I like that because they could be anybody, right? They are Joe American during the Depression, right? They're not Roy Rogers. They're not, I think it's Chief Joseph. These are all people that we learned about in history, Mark Twain, Ben Franklin, but that is just, that could be your neighbor in the Great Depression, or a relative, I like that. Now every time, Eric, I see that scene, I'm thinking of you.
Yeah. And my scariest ride, maybe this is a personal thing, but Astro Orbiter terrifies me.
Really?
Yeah, you go up and you start at 8 stories high,
right?
And it is deceptively fast.
Right? No, I'm with
the
you.
Magic carpets of American Go, but these are these are rockets. They are going at a good speed.
They do.
If you are afraid of heights and you're up there at the peak, 10, 11 stories up at just about the highest point in the Magic Kingdom. going around in circles. I was frightened up there.
I
Man.
love that ride, but now you got me freaked. No, you're exactly right. There also, here's what scares me the most about this ride. It's the elevator in July. I'm scared that if I ever get trapped in that thing, you got about 20 seconds of life left before you would cook.
Yeah.
That thing is so
And
hot.
You thought the monorail smelled bad in August.
Oh, yeah, no kidding. No, but you're exactly right about the Astro Orbiter going fast. And it's deceiving, right? Because when you watch it and you're in line for Space Mountain, or, you're just walking around Tomorrowland, it looks so beautiful. It just looks like a little toy up there going around like a mobile in a kid's play.
And you just got off Dumbo, and that was slow and leisurely,
right.
But they made it feel like it's a rocket. It even tilts a little bit if you're up high. Like Dumbo keeps it straight, but these are a little bit tilted inward. So I don't know, man. That's kind of low-key terrifying to me.
I like it. Yeah, because you're right. When I'm on that thing, I'm always thinking it almost hurts because because the centrifugal force pushes me to the outside of the rocket. Like, man, it's kind of hurting my ribs.
It's a roller coaster helix for 2 minutes.
That's exactly what it is. Oh man, Eric, I'm glad you got to call tonight. It's been too long.
Yeah, it really has. The other thing, I haven't heard Friday's show yet, but I don't know if you mentioned the tunnel in the Jungle Cruise.
No, I didn't think about that. No, that's a good one.
But like it's kind of creepy. And then this one night we had a skipper who, while we were going through, it has that kind of eerie music going on.
Yeah.
Along to the eerie music, he began to go, "It's a small world after all."
Yeah, that's not scary at all.
And it was both hilarious and like really like those movies that will use a popular song but slow it down to make it sound creepy in a thriller or something like that.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't need people good. Like in that kind of minor tone singing a children's song. That just that's the stuff of nightmares.
The tunnel was creepy enough.
Exactly.
Can I ask you a quick trip planning podcast question while we're here?
That's why we're here. Give me one.
Very quick. Is there a cancellation policy on tickets?
So if you purchase Magic Your Way tickets and can't use them?
Yeah, something happens and like a month out, something happens and you can't use them. Are you able to get a refund on that, or do you have to push the date, or what's the deal with that?
So typically, if you call Disney ticketing, sometimes they'll work with you, but the main rule is you will get the value of those tickets for 365 days. So like if you want to say because they're dated, right? So say you bought tickets to use starting on November 1st and you can't use them. If you want to, Disney will let you use those on May 1st, but the tickets on May 1st might cost more. So you would have to then pay the difference, but you would get the value of what you paid for those initial tickets towards the new tickets, but only within 365 days of the initial use date.
Okay. So you get kind of like a 1-year credit.
Yeah. So you're not like losing your money, but you will not. As far as I know, they're non-refundable, and I don't think Disney does refund. I mean, I haven't heard anybody get, that's a hard nut to crack there, having Disney hand you back money, but they'll give you the value, so at least you get some use out of them.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
All right. Hey, Eric, you have a good Halloween. If I don't wait, we got another show before Halloween next Sunday. We still got another one to go.
Yeah, I'm going to be traveling that day though, so I'll probably catch you on the podcast.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you, and stay safe up in Connecticut.
Yeah, good to hear from you guys.
Okay, good to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right, 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Marty says the drop in Pirates gets her every time. There's always like one split second in Pirates where I think it's like further down than it is. Like I'm like, okay, it's a small drop. It's not a big deal. I've been down this a million times. And then for like maybe a tenth of a second, I'm like, this thing's still going down. And then we bottom out and we're good. So I always wonder about that because it's totally dark and you can't see where you're going. Also, Lori says, I took my daughter to a local fair and found myself comparing every ride to Disney World equivalents. It's now the standard we compare everything to. I think we all do that as Disney fans, right? Whether we go to a fair, in a fair, I hope no rides at the fair are better than anything at Walt Disney World. Please help us. Um, I'm in Missouri, so we have quite a few county fairs in our rural areas, but yeah, they're also usually combined with rodeos and stuff like that. So our rides are not the greatest, like state of the art rides. They're stuff that have probably been around since the 70s, but we do compare like, oh, that's kind of like, I don't know, like we said, the Astro Orbiter, for some spinny ride. But when I go to Six Flags, here, this is kind of a bad thing because Six Flags, we have a Six Flags here about 20 minutes from our house. And of course, Mallory and her friends go to Six Flags for things like right now they're doing something called Fright Fest. So it's like a Halloween celebration. And I mean, that's what kids in St. Louis do. They can't go to Walt Disney World on the weekend. We're in St. Louis. So they go there. But the thing is, Mallory, and I feel bad as a dad, right? Mallory grew up going to Walt Disney World. Like we went down there 2 or 3 times a year, and maybe your kids are the same way. And so she's gone to Walt Disney World probably 7 or 8 times as many times as she's gone to Six Flags, which is 20 minutes from our house. Well, the kids that she goes to school with obviously grew up more with Six Flags and have maybe gone to Walt Disney World or Disneyland once, twice, maybe. So when Mallory goes to Six Flags, she's kind of like a little snob sometimes because she's like, well, it Six Flags, it was dirty, or at Six Flags, it was this, or at Six Flags, it was that. We had to do this, we had to do that. And I try to tell her this because I get these same thoughts in my mind too. That Six Flags is an amusement park. It's not a world-class destination that people travel to from all parts of the globe. It's a local amusement park for us in St. Louis, for Missouri, from the Midwest. And it has great roller coasters, but there's not a lot of theming. But those roller coasters are fast. They're exciting. They're intense. They'll flip you a million ways. They have great state-of-the-art rides, but they don't have theming. They don't have storytelling. They don't have the same characters that, our Six Flags has like Bugs Bunny and Sylvester and stuff like that, and Pepe Le Pew. My daughter doesn't know who those people are. Like she never watched those cartoons on Saturday mornings. So it's a strange thing because I was a kid that grew up with Six Flags. I never got to go to, we were poor. To go to Six Flags was like going to Disney World for me when I was a kid. We got some free tickets every once in a while. My dad would have his work party. My dad was a cement mason. They'd rent out the place and have a picnic out there once a year. And we go to Six Flags, and it was the greatest day in the history of the world to ride roller coasters and stuff, and the log ride, and the time tunnel, and the Ferris wheel, and meeting Bugs Bunny was cool to me, but for my daughter, it's so different. So I see a lot of people saying, amusement park is different than a theme park. That's a Brooke saying. I agree. Carolyn says same with her kids. They have annual passes for Disneyland for several years. They compare everything to Disneyland. I think you just can't help it. We've gone to Six Flags a couple times the last couple of years. And what I have to do is I have to make a reset of my brain and just say, and like Brooke said, I'm at an amusement park. I'm just here to have fun. Like I don't have to have every ride telling a story that's connected to an IP, that's from 1955, but it's weird because our Six Flags that we have opened in 1971. So it was celebrating 50 years this year, just like Walt Disney World. So yeah, crazy stuff. And it's interesting. So that is where I stand on that. And with that, I think we're going to wrap the show because I'm actually, look, I'm actually getting a nosebleed. So I got to call this thing off before it gets any worse. But let's do this. So we're going to wrap the show and we'll be back again next Sunday night. So thanks for hanging with me. And we'll be back again next Sunday night with Scott. We'll be taking your calls. I apologize. We got to cut this about 10 minutes short. But we had a good time tonight. And of course, we'll have the shows on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday this week. I love you guys. I appreciate you supporting our show. I love talking to you on Sunday nights. It's always so much fun. So I'm going to duck out of here. Don't forget our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel, standing by right now. All the agents are to help you plan an amazing Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the show. You make all these shows possible. So please join us on Patreon, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Also, give me a follow on social media at Be Our Guest Mike. Let's talk this week. I love talking with you guys, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to our show. Sorry that I got to cut this short. I don't know if it's allergies or what, but it's just maybe it's because I've been talking for an hour, but I've been fighting this all day, and here it is again. I was hoping it wouldn't happen tonight, but here we go. All right, so we are going to cut out of here, and we'll be back again next Sunday night with Scotty G from the big city. I'm Mike, and you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Whew. All right. Let me get, I don't have any Kleenex down here either. Sorry about that. I've been getting nosebleeds all day. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my allergies or something. So that would have got bad. So I am going to go, and I will talk to you guys soon. So have a good Sunday night. And I just saw Eric's call. I'll have to check Skype and see what's going on. Because I got some of the calls because I got a call log here. I don't see Alfred. I don't see Fulton. I see 734. I see a 617. I see a 443. I see a 506 area code. All right, I'm going to get out of here, and we will do this again next Sunday night. You guys stay safe, stay healthy.